Shabbat Shalom, all praises, honor, and glorification unto our mighty, marvelous, and wonderful power. Kol Halaim La Allahayanawa Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, whom rule well, and who are great examples to our younger brethren. Salutations as well as health and wellness unto the hopeful elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai scattered across the earth. This is your brother Allah coming to you with another lesson. And the title of this lesson will be History of Our Nation's Kingdoms. Right? And what we'll go into is, our nation's split into two kingdoms, right? Being northern and Salakia, southern and northern kingdom, right? We'll also go into or touch on the topics, rather, of how the so-called Native American Indians got to the Americas, so on and so forth. Pretty much we'll just touch a bit on our, history regarding our nation's kingdoms. So, Lord willing, the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai be edified. And let's get right into it. And we'll start at the book of 1 Kings, the 11th chapter. Starting at verse 1. Right? And it reads, But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. Right? And that's what happened. Right? The heart, meaning the mind of King Solomon, was turned after the gods of, his strange women. Right? Verse 3. Verse Salakia, matter of fact, let's get a precept. This is the book of Nehemiah, the 13th chapter, and we'll read verse 26. And it reads, Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his power, and the Most High made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. See? Right? So his sin wasn't, dealing with women of the other nations, but rather it was going after the gods of those women of other nations. Right? So going back to the book of 1 Kings, the 11th chapter, verse 3, and it reads, And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart, right? Once again, meaning his mind. Verse 4, For it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his power, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Right, so once again, that was his sin. And see, really, when you take a wife of the other nations, or, in the ancient times, a concubine, that woman is to follow after you in your power, right? Which, of course, our power is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? And that's why when you go to, let me see, it's in the book of Deuteronomy. right? And I'll just get this briefly. This is Deuteronomy 21:10. And it says, when thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Lord thy power hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, which obviously this is talking about the other nations, right? Because the other nations are our enemies. And seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife, right? Which a concubine is a lesser wife, right? A woman of the other nations. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, right? And why is that? That's because, amongst other cultures, if you will, hair and nails was often involved with the gods of those nations in their cultures, right? So, and that's pretty much the point. But we can finish it. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And why is that? That's because you just, pretty much killed them. And after that, thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. Which that's another, side note, but that's another scripture showing that sex is marriage, right? It don't mention a man getting on one knee or no shit like that, just a side note, But going back to the topic, let's go back to 1 Kings, the 11th chapter. Right, so the point I was making was, pretty much when you take a woman of the other nations, right, which is a concubine, a lesser wife, she's to follow after you in your power, right? But see, what happened was pretty much vice versa of that. King Solomon went and followed after, the gods of his strange women, right? And that was the fuck up. Right, so let's see where we leave off. 1 Kings 11:6. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Salakia. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, which the Moabites are the so-called Chinese, and the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon, which are the so-called Japanese. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burn incense and sacrificed unto their gods. And see, when he took those strange women as concubines, their connection between them and their gods was supposed to be cut off, and they were supposed to take after him and his God, which is our power, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Right, verse 8. And likewise did he offer his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. And the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which the Lord commanded. Right? Verse 11. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. Which that servant spoken of is talking about Jeroboam, right? Which was an Israelite from the tribe of Ephraim, which most call Puerto Ricans today. Which the tribe of Ephraim is the head of the northern kingdom, and the tribe of Judah is the head of the southern kingdom, and really, the tribe of Judah is the head of the whole nation, right? The southern kingdom consists of the tribes Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, which are the so-called Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians. And the northern kingdom consists, let me pull it up. Right, the northern kingdom consists of Salakia. Right, the northern kingdom consists of, it's a little blurry, I'm waiting for it to load up. Come on, man. Damn it, why is it blurry? Okay, there we go. The Water Yahweh by Shemi Awashai. The northern kingdom consists of Simeon, which are the so-called Dominicans, Zebulon, which are the so-called Guatemalans, the Panamanians, or in other words, the Central Americans. Ephraim, which are the so-called Puerto Ricans, Manasseh, which are the so-called Cubans, Gad, which are the so-called North American Indians, Reuben, which are the so-called Seminole Indians, right, which Gad and Reuben are warrior tribes, Naphtali, which are the so-called Argentinians to Chileans, Asher, which are the so-called Colombians to Uruguayans, and Issachar, which are the so-called Mexicans, right, and once again, the tribe of Ephraim is the head of the northern kingdom, right. So, continuing on, verse 12, notwithstanding in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son, which the son of King Solomon was Rehoboam, right? And that's who the kingdom, or rather, that's when it will be done, right? That's when the rending of, the kingdom will be done. Right, it will be done under the rulership of Rehoboam, the son of King Solomon. Verse 13, howbeit I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son, for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. Right, so we could jump down, right, let's get straight to the point, to verse 26. And it reads, and Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, an Ephrathite of Zeredah, Solomon's servant, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king. And this was the cause that he lifted up his hand against the king. Solomon built Milo and repaired the breaches of the city of David his father. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, right, meaning diligent and hardworking, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at that time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he had clad himself with the new garment, and they two were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him, and rent it in 12 pieces, right, which those 12 pieces that were rent is a representation of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And how that union, right, being one nation, would be rent. And as a result of that, now you have two kingdoms, right, of the nation of Israel, right, northern and southern. Verse 31, and he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith the Lord, the power of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. Right now, that 10 tribes spoken of is a representation of the northern kingdom. Right? Verse 32. And let me see if there's anything else noted. Yeah. Verse 32. But he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel. Which it says one tribe, meaning the southern kingdom. Right? As you see noted, it says the one tribe is talking about the southern kingdom. Right? Which the southern kingdom consists of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But, in this time, Levi was, living in the suburbs, if you will. Right? Because that was the priesthood. So let's see, verse 33. And it reads, because that they have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, Chemosh, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways to do that which is right in mine eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments, as did David his father. Howbeit I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life for David my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, which is Rehoboam, and will give it unto thee 10 tribes. Verse 36, and unto his son will I give 1 tribe, that David my servant may have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there. And I will take thee, and thou shalt reign according to all that thy soul desireth, and shall be king over Israel. And it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I command thee, and will walk in my ways and do that which is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as David my servant did, that I will be with thee, and build thee a sure house, as I built for David, and I will give Israel unto thee. And I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever. Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam, and Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt unto Shishak king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. And the rest of the acts of Solomon, and all that he did, and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Solomon? And the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David his father, and Rehoboam his son reigned in his stead. See, and we can close that. Let me see where we're at. Okay, cool. So now we could jump to the 12th chapter, right? Starting at verse 1. And it reads, and Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass, when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, that they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came, and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievousness, the grievous service of thy father, and his yoke, which he put upon us, lighter, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them and answer them and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. But he forsook the counsel of the old men which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with them, right? Which, was pretty much were his peers, and which stood before him. And he said unto them, What counsel give ye that we may And he said unto them, What counsel give ye that we may answer this people, who have spoken to me, saying, Make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. And now, whereas my father did laid you with the heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father have chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, as the king had appointed, saying, Come to me again the 3rd day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, right? Because, this all was ordained in regards to the fulfillment of prophecy, right? That he might perform his word, saying, Salakia, that he might perform his saying, which the Lord spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel, now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. But as for the children of Israel which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with stones, that he died. Therefore King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. Verse 19, so Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. See? And, that's that split, man. And, even today, that split and contention is still present between southern and northern kingdom. Right? That's why you have, like I said, that contention, or in other words, tribal wars. Right? Which, let's see, let's get a brief precept, Deuteronomy 28:54. And it reads, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children which he shall leave. See? So once again, that's that split, man. So let's see, 1 Kings 12, and we'll continue at verse 20. And it reads, and it came to pass when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, and 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam the son of Solomon. But the word of the Most High came unto Shemaiah the man of the Most High, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearken therefore to the word of the Lord, and return to depart according to the word of the Lord. Then Jeroboam built Shechem and Mount Ephraim, and dwelt there, and went out from thence, and built Penuel. Oh, Salakia, that's it on that. Right. So that war, if you will, that was about to occur, right? That tribal war didn't happen because the Lord, it wasn't the Lord's will for it to take place. So now we can go to 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, and we'll start at verse 1. And it reads, In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea the son of Elah to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. And the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan, Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes, right? Which, not every last Israelite of the northern kingdom was, carried away into Assyria, right? You had some that remained in, Salakia. You had some that remained, right? So let's see. And I have the map right here, which is a little blurry, but you see Assyria, and then right here is Samaria, right? See? And you have the cities of the Medes over here, right? You have Salakia. Pretty much those green circles that you see, are the areas where we were carried. Right. So continuing on, this is verse 7. And it reads, "For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their power, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made." Right, in Salakia. Let me see. Verse 9. "And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their power, and they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced cities. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill, and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. For they served idols, whereof the Lord had said unto them, Ye shall not do this thing." Right? And Salaki, I'm trying to make sure I'm, covering everything. Right. Salakia. Yeah, okay. Verse 12, or Salakia 13. "Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, which I sent to you by my servants the prophets." Which that's what's happening in these times, right? You have the prophets of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai back, right? And backing that up, the scriptures tell you the spirits of the prophets are subject unto the prophets, right? So you have the prophets of the Lord back doing the same thing, man, testifying against Israel and against Judah, right? Israel talking about the northern kingdom and Judah talking about the southern kingdom, right? verse 14. And it reads, notwithstanding they would not hear, but hardened their necks, like to the neck of their fathers that did not believe in the Lord their power. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them, that they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their power, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the host of heaven, and served Baal. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. See? Right, and let me see something really quick. Right, and we can keep reading a bit. Let's see, verse 20. Salakia, verse 19. And also Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their power, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord, and made them sin a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam which he did. They departed not from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight. As he has said by all his servants the prophets, so was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. Right? See? And once again, I showed you the map. Right? So let's see. Now we can go to the book of, right? Second Esdras, the 13th chapter. Starting at verse 40. And it reads, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land, which that other land that they came into is the land of Assyria. Right? Let me see, I have a note here. Yep.
Oh, okay. Sure is hot in here.
Yep. And this yeah. Come on, man. These 10 tribes is talking about the northern kingdom. Right? Verse 41, but they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen, and go forth into a further country, where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then shewed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over, which that map is right here, right, showing you the route that they took from the land of Assyria all the way to South and Northern America. Right? So you see they came through the Persian Gulf. Right? Let me see really quick. Let's see if I could get a better. Salakia, hold tight. Yep. But I'm trying to find the... Come on, man. Fuck. All right, well, you see it here, right? You know? So they traveled from the Persian Gulf, right? Salakia. Let me see if I can find a better... Salakia. So Salakia, I'm trying to find a... All right, let's do this. Let's do this. There we go. But it's still... Salakia, brother. All right, this'll do. Right, this'll do. So you see the outline of the Euphrates River here, right? And then let me see if I can find it. Damn, let me see. Right. You see the outline of the Euphrates River here and how it's, going into the Persian Gulf, right? And that's the route that was taken. So verse 43, and it reads, and they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then shewed signs for them and held still the floods till they were passed over, right? So they, entered into the Euphrates River, right, leading into the Persian Gulf, came under the Horn of Africa and up upon the right side of South and North America, as you see right here, the red line, right? And that, the Lord pretty much was controlling the violent waters, right? And that's how we made it over here, man. So let's see, verse 45, and it reads, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of 1.5 years, and the same region is called Arsareth, which I have noted here. The word Arsareth means unknown land, which is talking about what was called the New World, right? The Americas, in other words. Right, so verse 49, then dwelt they there, right? The they talking about the northern kingdom. Then dwelt they there. And it wasn't, once again, it wasn't every last Israelite from the northern kingdom, but rather it was a bulk of the northern kingdom, right? Then dwelt they there until the latter time, right? The latter time talking about the last days, which we're in now. And now when they shall begin to come, right? So the second time it says they, that's talking about the southern kingdom, right? As the scriptures tell you, Judah and Israel were oppressed together. See? So, pretty much the northern kingdom, was here first. And then after that came the southern kingdom, which we came over here. As I have noted here, I'll read the note. It says, the they which shall begin to come is talking about the southern kingdom, which consists of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, which they got over here by way of ships, pursuant to Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Right? Also, the tribes Judah, Benjamin, and Levi are the so-called Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians. Right? So we could go over there to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and the 68th verse. And it reads, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, which we know that's not talking about the literal land Egypt, because nowhere in history did the nation of Israel come into the actual land Egypt again with ships. Right? So, right, that Egypt is symbolic of America, which is a spiritual Sodom in Egypt, pursuant to Revelation, the 11th chapter and the 8th verse, which we'll get that, right? But it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Right? Meaning no man shall redeem you. Right? Our redemption is going to come from our Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. See? So I have noted here. Yeah, which, like I said before, this is talking about the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Right? So let's see. Let's get Revelation, the 11th chapter, verse 8. And it reads, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom in Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And I'll read this note as well. It says, this is talking about the spiritually dead Israelites in Babylon the Great, which is a spiritual Sodom in Egypt. Sodom because of the alphabet community, faggots, etc. And Egypt because this is the land wherein we are captive. And at that, this is the land of our last captivity. Right? Also, that crucifixion is a spiritual crucifixion, meaning this is where our Lord was crossed out with that false image that they have established. Right? And set up to be the Lord, which is not, the true image of the Lord. Right? Talking about the image that they have set up, which goes back to Serapis Christus. Right? So let's see. Now we can close out with the book of Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, verse 33. And it reads, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Right? So that's, the point of this lesson is established. So with that, Lord willing, you were edified. Once again and forever, all praises, honor, and glorification unto our mighty, marvelous, and wonderful power. Call Halaim La Allahayin Awa Yahweh Bahashem. Yahushai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone whom rule well. Salutations as well as health and wellness unto the hopeful elect. of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai scattered across the earth. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Wa Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Baba Kasha Ababa Ba. Wa Shalom DTA soon and stay sharp. And you send your Akim Wa Akwath, keep pushing. And Lord willing, what I'll do is, which these maps, right, this one and this one, I pulled these from the video that the brothers put up, right here from 5 years ago. And you see the channel is entitled GMS UK Truth, right? And there's 2 parts, right? So Lord willing, what I'll do is put the links to both parts within the description, right? And I, exceedingly edifying. I highly suggest you, since you're Akim Wa Akwat out there, go watch them. So with that, Shalom.